right, everyone. It's our final segment this morning with Reverend Glenn Cranfield, President and CEO of the Nashville Rescue Mission. Nice to have you on this morning.
Great.
You're a nice guy.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Again, I was telling him, he reminds me of former U.S. Congressman Bob Clement. Brothers. Now, I know his real brother, Frank Clement. You look more like Bob than Frank does. Anyway, most of you don't know him, and both great guys, but it's nice for you to come on this morning. And listen, it's our final segment here, and I thought we would talk about what the needs are, special needs this time of year. I'm guessing you got the turkeys you need by this point, or
yes.
What can, if someone's watching this show and they think between now and through the holidays they'd like to give, what do you recommend from volunteering, how you can get involved with that even year round, and what type of products are needed?
Well, at this time of year, we have all the turkeys that we need, and that will carry us through Christmas. But turkeys and hams, those are two things that really can carry you through for a long period of time.
Oh, yeah,
we have to store those. But
so you can freeze them. So you can still, if you have more than you can use now, they'll use them throughout the year.
Absolutely. And we have turkey noodles, turkey and lasagna, turkey tetrazzini.
Turkey's great, man. Sounds good.
It's great
cream
stuff.
Turkey and toast. All right.
But those
turkey
are
ham, country hams. You'll take those.
Oh yeah.
And then just other canned goods in general. Is that something year-round? People sometimes will just pull up and.
Absolutely.
What about hunters? I didn't know if there's a program with you guys, or if that's maybe through Second Harvest someplace else, where if they've got venison, that's already been processed.
If it's been processed, and yeah, absolutely, we take that. And,
I know, I don't mean drop the carcass off at the door, but I mean if it's processed and they've got ground venison or more than they can use,
absolutely,
they can bring that to you.
Absolutely, and we serve venison chili. We've had all kinds of fun things like that.
Great.
And it's great for the homeless. I mean, they really appreciate that kind of thing as well. So, and then coats and scarves and gloves for the winter time. Obviously, just think seasonally. Oftentimes, we're grateful for it, but oftentimes when we get into a season, then they clean out the closet, and so we get the previous season things.
Right.
And so right now we're entering the winter, and so the coats and scarves and gloves, those things are very, very, very important. And we actually have a program. One thing that a lot of people don't think about is and we tell people don't blush now, but we're going to talk about underwear for just a moment. And because those are some things that you don't want used.
Yeah, right.
And so we ask people in churches and groups to do an undie drive.
Yeah.
And even churches do what they call undie Sunday.
Yeah.
And they do an undie drive. And that's, just
so people
meaningful
bringing,
things.
obviously not used underwear, which that's something I always just knew. I mean, who wants old underwear?
Right.
You just go get packages of Fruit of the Loom, Hanes, whatever, already sealed, and they're not super expensive. T-shirts and underwear.
Exactly. And so that's really helpful.
What about toiletries? I don't know, soaps, shampoos, toothpaste, toothbrushes, razors?
All the time. I mean, unbelievable the amount that we go through with those type of things.
The other funding that comes your way, then people can also make cash donations, which is I do every year. I give a cash donation. I know United Way gives some money. Do they not?
We're not a United Way
I'm sorry.
recipient.
I know that United Way is one, but where else does the money come from then?
Well, all of our money is private giving, meaning that we don't receive any government money at all.
No federal, state money?
None at all. No federal, state, or local government money. And so it's just private giving. And the bulk of that, 90% of that, comes from individuals.
Private donations like the check I write out.
That's right. The other 10% is a combination of churches and businesses and private foundations. And so, but the bulk of that is just Middle Tennessee people saying, I want to help.
Okay, so the donations. What about someone who wants to maybe volunteer? Is there some kind of training or program, or how do they, if someone wants to come down? I'm not talking about tomorrow, because you're going to have a bunch of people like me out there. You don't need that, but I mean year-round. What kind of jobs are available for volunteers? Maybe seniors who are looking for something to do, or teenagers that can help?
Everything from answering phones, reception work, to teaching classes. We have a volunteer case manager, counselor.
So you call and tell what you have to offer.
Yeah.
And then pencil you in.
We have a guy that's been doing that for, well, as long as I've been here, and I think for maybe 10 years or so. He's a staff member that doesn't get paid. He's a volunteer because he's retired. He doesn't need that. He just wants to give back. He's an incredible man, an incredible counselor and case manager. And so there's training for all of those type of specific areas. And we'd encourage people, tell us what your skill is, tell us what your heart is, and I guarantee there's a place where we can fit you in. And they can go to NashvilleRescueMission.org, click the volunteer tab, and it talks about all the different opportunities there.
That are out there. All right, let's go next to Eddie. Eddie, good morning.
Yes, this might be a little bit off from exactly what y'all talking about, but can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was born and raised here in Nashville. I live over here in East Nashville at Trinity Lane, Dickerson Road. And these woods across from here, I mean, it is full of homeless people and tents and all these different things. And I've become friends with some of them, and I see them all the time. And the question I got, I'm not trying to be prejudiced or nothing, maybe I am. Why do all I see is white people and black people? I don't see any Muslim people. I don't see any Mexicans. All the homeless people seem to be our people. What is the deal with that?
No, it's interesting. As you look at the demographic, we've already talked about age, and what about ethnicity? I'm guessing you see the gamut. I'm trying to think when I go over there and serve, I see a pretty much mixed bag. Do we see more? Is it based on the population and how many people live here, what you see more of ethnicity-wise?
It really is based upon the population, and the gentleman's call is fairly accurate. I mean, we're seeing a pretty close divide equally between Caucasian and African American. In Oklahoma, where I'm from, then we would see a fairly large Hispanic population that was homeless and a little bit of Asian. And so because that was the culture there, I mean, it's close to Mexico, and so we had that, and close to Texas, that other country.
There are any barriers, maybe real or unreal, that perhaps those, because we have a large Hispanic population here, that maybe for whatever reason they choose not to seek out this service? Not that you would ever turn them away, but I don't know if you think something like that might exist.
Well, I think even in their own culture, there are some differences there, because they're more prone to have 2 or 3 families then that are on difficult times to living together in a household. Okay. And so that it's their own culture as well as the culture in which we're living.
Cultural differences that reflect it.
Yeah.
And real quickly, he did talk about some of these homeless encampments.
Yes.
And you know, a big story was one of them being closed over there near Greer Stadium, back over there near Fort Negley, I guess, or so when that happens, and they're moved out of where they maybe were camping out, you see an influx?
We went to the camp.
Okay, you went up there.
We went to the camp and said, hey, you know, find out who they are, make sure there weren't some violence issues, and welcome them all to come to the mission, and not just us, but other agencies as well. And so there's a place for each of them to go. Every single one of them had a place to go to receive help continually. They just wanted to live in an encampment.
Yeah, that's true. They knew the mission was there, but their preference was to be there.
That's right.
But now that that was taken away, at least for the short term, they needed a place to go.
And they can and have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any parting shots as we're in the holiday season?
Yeah.
Just go ahead. What would you like to?
I would like to say thank you. I would like to say thank you to Nashville, the Middle Tennessee community. Thank you to Channel 5. Thank you to you for keeping the issue in front of us and talking about it from a really responsible, respectable point of view. And that's very important, because they're people. We call them homeless, but they're men, they're women, and they're children. They have names, they have value, they have identity, and you're helping us continue to address that. And thank you for Middle Tennessee for caring for them.
Yeah, thank you for that. And obviously, it's our pleasure for this. What you say is so true, because you think about your own situation, and if you somehow think that you're better in some way or this couldn't happen to you, you're wrong.
That's right.
Okay, I mean, really, you think about 2 or 3 things that could just happen to any one of us, and we're, but for the grace of God, that close to being out on the streets, be it a lost job, an illness, or God forbid you have some types of substance abuse issue that comes after you maybe were given a pain pill for a back surgery, and then it gets out of control. Those kind of things happen, and you're so close to that, and it could be any single one of us. And we're all good people, and so it's a chance to help. So I hope also they'll take to heart what you talked about, what the needs are.
Yes.
Yeah, just get involved, and we do talk about it now, and the truth is we should have you on in the middle of the summer, too, and remind folks, you always let us know, because it's not just during the holiday seasons you want to pay attention to this. So,
that's right. Thank you.
Glenn, thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Nick.
I will see you tomorrow.
All right.
You know, we'll be over there to help out with everything, and folks, take it to heart. Let me tell you, when we come back from this break, I will have the phone number for the mission if you want to call and get more information for yourself who needs help, or to volunteer right after this. Stay with us.